So I know y'all shocked that I will be speaking up about this. Um, the RCC means Roman Catholic Church. So I'm not anti-Catholic. Okay, I'm an ex-Protestant. I'm mostly anti-Protestant, evangelical, not towards people, but towards the theology and fundamentalism, because I came from there. And actually, I'm gonna do a video defending a documentary coming out by those who left Protestant evangelicalism. It's a Caucasian man is on YouTube. He's trying to get funding, and I would like to team up and work with him because this is a personal issue that hurt my psychological and mental and spiritual health as well when I grew up in a Baptist household. Um, as a Catholic convert since 1993, okay, when I first got introduced, I have family members and family friends who are Catholic. Of those of African American descent, those who shocked to see that. I wish people stop stereotyping those with one drop of African American DNA. We have different religions in our community. Now, everybody's a Baptist, okay, and everybody's a Methodist. You have Jehovah's Witnesses, you have Muslims, both Orthodox and Nation Islam. You have Jewish people, you have all type of people of African American descent. I wish that we had a BET that was not owned by Viacom to show every aspect of those in our community to show that there's different complexity within. Now, like different complexions and heritages of us, because we're not pure African descent. I have noticed coming from what led me to outside of the Protestant faith was spiritual abuse. I'm going to call it like a distortion of scripture. It was St. Peter said in the second letter, um, chapter 1, verses 20 21, and also the third chapter of the second letter, 15 and 16, 15 and 17, about twisted scripture. And I did not know about those things, but I was driven spiritually until I eventually found out in 2000 that people can distort the scripture. Like in the Catholic person outside of my diocese, on social media, on AOL, had gave me some scripture verses that my priest would never have given me. And priests I've met before, they don't do their job here in Houston. They actually suck in Houston, call it like it is. So when I became Catholic at age 13, when my church, my parents was mostly African descent, of different shades, dark skin, light skin, straight hair, dark skin people, straight hair. I'm also Mr. Creole down the family tree. My family don't knowledge as much, but I knowledge it's not a family tree. It is, as y'all know, down African American, French, Creole, English, and Ireland American. I know all my roots, but I know bits and pieces until 2016, and continuing to do more research on my family geology. So what happened is, that's all different shade sizes. Because yeah, talking about exotic looks, I saw that as well. Okay, when I was visiting there before I became Catholic in 1992, we had a Creole priest. Everybody think he's a white man sometimes, even though I can tell he's a brother, or maybe Hispanic, whatever, because he was very light skinned with different texture hair. But he had African so-called garb, kente cloth, the black and red and green on the altar, and there was gospel music when he was there. And then he later on went to St. Bridget's in Los Angeles, and went to the churches in the East Side. Then we had Italian, so that's when I started to convert. That's when we had Italian American who was the Josephites, which is the African American descendant Catholic order. That when the time of doing segregation and slavery, the white Catholics tried to be inside with the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant racist people in order to fit in, because this is a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant country, and anti-Catholicism is rooted in. So that's why I say I'm not anti-Catholic, because I know the people say, "Oh, you must hate the church." No, I don't hate the church. I hate the things in the church that needs to change. And that's before the raid, because I see why the censorship is going on, because these Catholics today, they're older. We grew up in a time when the culture of Protestantism believed that children should be seen and not be heard, because there's a lot of Protestant sexual scandals, um, and there's not reported in the news. Also, too, the man who just passed away, Bush, under his administration, and also Reagan administration, they had sexual encounter with boys and girls too at Boys Town. A lot of folks said, should we be anti-American, burn American flag down, say F America? No, I mean, you got to look at people as individuals. Now, yeah, everybody's honoring George W. Bush, but George H.W. you should say, but yet his administration 30 years ago, they had a sexual scandal. The only one that mostly got in trouble was a light skinned brother named Lawrence King, known as Larry King, not Larry King on seeing this Jewish, right? Jewish. I'm talking about someone who's African, say light skin, wore fashion clothes. He was out there having sex with them boys, and also probably with some girls too at the Boys Town National Boys Town in Nebraska, and also he was part of the Black Republican Party, whatever, and also he signed for Reagan's inauguration. But he's locked up. But the other folks involved in Reagan and Bush, they're not. Yeah, so I would call it out, and they let them know that a lot of white Catholics voted, especially here in Houston, voted for Bush. And it's funny every time there's a Republican, since I've been here, because I born when Carter was president in '79, and he was Democrat. Every time you hear a Republican president, it's always some anti-Catholic scandals been breaking out. I noticed that. But when there's a Democrat and you have those who hate Democrat because of abortion, and not all us Democrats are for abortion, people love Pope John, Francis when Obama was president. You know, all his love. You know what I'm saying? So, but 20 years ago, when Bush, the son, was president before Obama became president, Pope Benedict was called all type of names, you know, in the media, and you know, folks bringing sexual scandals from his face, just start messing with him and stuff. And those are white Catholics who are Republican don't even look at that. Okay, so let's get back to something on my end. So the white man that was the Italian American priest was very rude. A lot of people saw colorism from his perspective. Um, but as the piano player, she's a dark skinned sister with natural hair. She relaxed her hair. She and him got along, you know what I'm saying? But I guess certain people he did not like him. He had folks who was very lighter than me saying they was leaving because they saw the colorism, and the dark skinned folks were dark chocolate ones, or if they went light, loved those who were light brownish like my complexion. I guess would not fit, but I was getting mistreated by him. And also to those dudes lied at me with green eyes and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And there was no sexual molestation on my. Oh no, I never witnessed anything of that. So I want to bring no lies to that. Remember, I was a teenager, so when I joined the Catholic Church. So if you yelled at me, I was one of those smart mouth youngsters, okay, in defense. And so at home I did that, and I tried to show a good image. Um, in church, because you don't want people to know, oh, he's the mean teen, wild teen, who doesn't respect elders, whatever, and your altar boy. But there was times I wanted to tell off the priest, okay, because I didn't care about his cloth, his title. You talk to me crazy, I'm gonna talk to you crazy too. So one time, '94, that's when I got my hair relaxed, and he made a smart comment about, that's when I got initiated into the what's it called? No, not no game. The Junior Knights, St. Peter Clay, was a African American Catholic organization, like the Junior, the Knights of Columbus. Okay, it was an African version of that. And right after I was doing altar service as an altar boy, he started talking smart, and I was trying to hold my breath because I have a grandmother at home who's a Protestant and who believes you should respect, and very extreme with that. And I wanted to tell him off. That's why I didn't go to church many times. I said, "Why are you not coming to church?" Because I'm not going to nobody talk to me crazy. You talk to me crazy. Y'all know how I feel. Those who, you too. You know how I feel about my own family. And I'm about to go there and go off of God's property and go off of their man. Because I don't know about, I hate to be yelled at and scolded and berated. I don't care what your stupid title is. You're still a human being. Respect goes both ways. And those who believe that old school, please keep it in your life. I don't. And I'm not going to change for nobody but me, myself, and God. Nobody on this earth. Now, that's why I stopped going to church. For my family, why you stop going to mass? And who my most Protestant, like, well, I didn't want to tell all my business, but I kept that secret, but how he was rude. And there was people, my grandmother's friends who were Catholic as well. They had left and went to other Catholic churches, as well. Some had went to private Protestant. One converted before I did, converted back in the '80s or '70s. But for real, they went to other churches, and the dude was known as, give me funny, a jackass. That's what we call it, old jackass. And some folks said other things besides that. I can't go and curse up in here about how they feel about that man. Okay, so until like when I turned, and I did go back, and that's when I started to be more spiritual, and I was like compliance, whether because Anti-Catholicism people started attacking my faith at 17, 18 years old, most like in my teen, but mostly at the time. And you're trying to do everything right. You're trying to be very more chaste, more southern. You don't want to think about sex. And it was pressure because the dudes talk about sex with girls at school, and you want to fit in as possible. Um, Back in those days, that's why one of the politicians, former politicians, got in some legal trouble. His wife was the sister principal at my school. I went to tell bitch she's Latina because I know the son. Okay, they graduated with me. But I hugged her. Before I hugged her, when I got my plaque at what's it called, Compact Center, which is the Summit Lakewood Church. We had a graduation there back in 20 years ago. I said thank you, Jesus, and because of all the bullying, but also too, you know, your faith was questioned. Not only the anti-Catholic part, but also sexuality, because people thought I was gay, whatever, and then also too, um, you were pressured to have sex. So, find a girl to have sex with, and when you're 18 years old too, that time, those days, and you saw sex all over the media, and you have folks who were born again, Protestant evangelicals who was all born again, and I'm going to go to heaven regardless, but I'm going to continue to have sex. You get them type of people as well. So you had a bunch of that going on. And lucky nobody didn't have no HIV and dead right now back in the 90s when it was wild, okay? So yes, those millennials who are those, yes, their generation X was wild, okay? Um, Weed and all that and stuff before they hit the cushion and everything. I never done no drugs, but that was the time. I don't forget those days, gangster lean and thugs and all that stuff and gangster cholo. I don't forget all that stuff back in the 90s, okay? Now, so I started going back to church 99 after I got my job working elsewhere where I felt that God gave me something, so let me start going back to church. Okay? But and then I still was questioning the practice of my faith all the way, okay, because of twisted interpretation of the Bible from Protestant evangelicals who were anti-Catholic. Okay, until I started reading books, and this is how I started reading. I'm letting you know when I read the books, Christian scriptures about Mary Squalnaga, um, and then I read about spiritual abuse, and then I started reading other books about fundamentalism. And I read books that's pro-Catholic and Catholic apologetics like Catholicism and Catholicism and Fundamentalism by Carl Keaton, who's the founder of Catholic Answers and stuff. That's when I started to get back on my faith and when I started doing my research. And because that's the priests in Houston are very lazy. They don't teach this stuff. They don't teach the biblical part of the faith. For example, I read under the Blessed Mother, Virgin Mary, because all generations call me blessed in Luke 1:48. Why we have the idea of venial sin, mortal sin. Okay, first John, I think 5:15 or something about that. So sin, all sin is evil, all sin is bad, whatever. All sin is ungodly, whatever. But there's a sin that's not deadly. Okay. Why we go to confessions? Okay, Matthew 9, when Jesus said that he put authority in men to confess, to forgive sins, and in John chapter 20, when he's talking to Saint Thomas and all them, he said, "Forgive sins. I lay hands, forgive sins. You're forgiven." This is the first apostles of the church. He founded. Um, they're forgiving. If you go forgive sins. Any sins you forgive are retained. And then, James chapter 5 talks about confess to another and pray for another. Okay, so that no one never broke it down to me biblically. Yes, I had the bottom of catechism, but it wasn't. And every time we had catechism, after I had both my communion and confirmation, my family friends' mother, because like I said, we had a lot of family friends in our color neighborhood that was Catholic, of all colors, dark and light, Creole, whatever. She was like high yellow sister. She would always argue with the students in there who was not, being compliant with her rules. And it's like I came here to learn about God, but y'all arguing and y'all having problems with these teenagers, who don't want to listen. And that was the 90s, y'all. Even in the church, yes, you had these bad attitudes and stuff. Okay, so that even drove me away because you know that they couldn't keep the class under control. And even one particular one sister, I mean, talk bad about once it was dark skin, so she wears a wig sometimes. Her grandson was acting out of line. So they know my family too. Guys talk. Everybody know my family in the area. It's how so and so doing. Well, anyway, he got the dark skinned brothers in our classroom got in trouble. So the mama and the grandmama confront these two high yellow women. Forget this. Oh, y'all, yes, yes, to my people in Baptist and Koji church. Yes, the mess goes on. They're all messing out in the Cocoa Black church. Yes, it does. It goes on, baby. She about to get hood up in that dog rectory. No, the rectory is, see, the rectory is where, yeah, that's where we had, yeah, that's where we have yeah, it's called rectory. We have the parish hall. Rectory was the priest day. The parish hall, yes, baby. At the parish hall, baby. That sister came there with that blonde. She does with that big blonde wig in her head, and her daughter, who's the dark skinned brother's mama, about to confront. Oh, baby, why you taking my son out of the baby? Because well, they was all acting a fool in there. I mean, it was one of the high yellow brothers that acting a fool. Remember, y'all know the story about one with the green eyes. He married a Hispanic woman right now. He has been curly hair. He wanted to imitate Queen. I'm Negro. Remember, y'all know I'm talking about the movie, Chris, I know about my multiracial background, Alex Haley and Halle Berry playing Queen during Black History Month. And you remember when after she had passed away, after she had got raped by the slave, not saying the white man she was trying to rape when she passed. Okay, y'all remember she in that bathroom, I'm a Negro, I'm a Negro. Y'all remember, so he come to, I'll never forget that during that time, I was trying to convert, and he came there, but let me tell you, well, he was acting a fool. And so this whole yellow bone, light skinned lady can pass for his mom, because they got green eyes. She dark, long hair, all her hair. I forget. She come in. I said, "Who is this?" I'm his mama, and I ain't been acting a fool up here. This and I'm making sure you act a fool. Yeah, yes, that's how it was. Okay, so it was like Sister Act too. Okay, out of control catechism class. Okay, and I'm sorry I couldn't. I didn't like. And they was picking on me. The folks I was in school with who one married to the uncle is married to my long distance cousin. Okay, so his nieces, okay, and nephew, okay, was one of them went to penitentiary later on. He spent all the went to penitentiary, became a thug. Okay, before he became all that, his cousins, talking about the one used to be who's a thug, but I think he changed life after he went to penitentiary. Okay, but his female cousins. He's one that was in third grade with me. Okay, when dude had called me, white dude called me the N word. Y'all know something. Let me change the subject here. Those who on my channel, that's okay. The darker skin, she ain't too dark, but she kind of brown skin sister. That's them. Okay, because her uncle is is married to my long distance cousin. Well, anyway, her sister acted fool in the classroom. Her lighter skinned sister, I don't forget. And then they would jump, for real. And they gave up when the teacher was gone. So I was getting bullied. I'm like, dang, everywhere I go, I get bullied. Even when I was in the Baptist church, I was getting bullied. I'm like, God, dog, what's up? You know what I'm saying? So I started going to church. Everybody bullied me. I can't defend myself. I can't speak my mind. I can't get ratchet back at you. I'm not going to put myself. I'm going to distance myself, okay? So what happened is, and you don't want to act a fool on God's property, okay? You know what I'm saying? So you're acting a fool. So I've been told and snitch on the people, but that's what I'm saying. So you got all that going on. I'm not coming, okay? Until I get the money to go back. This is back when I was a teenager. I go to church. I'll do that. As I got my confirmation, they were trying to make us continue to go to catechism. No, I'm not going to go to catechism. And I think it was the white priest that told. No, I'm not. After I got my confirmation, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't even know how to get your class, and y'all won't get father on these posts. They didn't care what father say, father, the priest. They didn't care about that. The white priest said, you know what I'm saying? One time they had a white Irish priest, and they had went off on him, mistreated him. Yeah, that's how ratchet it. Yes, okay. So when I start seeing ratchet on both ends, from the clergy, I'm not coming. It's not that the church doctrines is that nobody ain't fulfilling in the church doctrines in their own action. It's called like it is. So I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not coming. I can't get the class under control when y'all priests acting a fool and talking crazy, just anyone talking too crazy. I don't care. Cause like I said, if no one go back and tell the church what I said, I would went off on that priest. Yes, I will. Behind the altar, cause after I took my robe off of the altar, I went off on him when I was 14 years old. I don't forget, cause I don't play that mess. Now, like I said, I started going back to church in '99. I visited churches in downtown, West University, and everything else, because they had more Catholic dialogue. It was because it was mostly white. Some people will assume that no, but it's actually, I'm glad about that the more the Catholic Church that are integrated with mostly white, but integrated with African Americans, Africans, especially Nigerians, okay, um, Asian, Hispanic, whatever, East Indian, fulfilling that title Catholic means universal. Um, you're gonna have more access to your faith. You're gonna have more biblical expectations. People will tell you why this is in church going on. You can have more. That I found about the Catholic League when Anti-Catholicism was on the media, I reported, and I stopped doing it once I found out Bill Donahue was a Trump supporter. But before that, actually, when I had some issues with Bill Donahue, not me personally, when he was on the world world over, with what's that? White Spanish Creole. I think he had some black in him. Creole and Italian. Raymond Arroyo on EWTN. Okay, and that was about they was trying to stop the gang members from using the rosary in their clothes. Because some schools stopping folks wearing rosary, but they say you're supposed to pray a rosary, not wear one. And one teenager called kind of that's what I believe in mutual respect, no matter what your age is. And the dude said, "A stupid kid." So when he said "stupid kid," it's old man. Old man saying, I did say old man, and get a feel because I'll be in the next 20 years, I'll be 40. I'll be old. I embrace getting old. I never liked it. Unlike Michael Jackson, I hated being a child. I hate being controlled by others. So how older I get, yeah, thank you. I embrace my old age. Okay, I look young because I take care of myself. Organics, herbs and vitamins, and don't smoke and don't too much drink and don't definitely don't do drugs. Okay, but no, I like to acknowledge my age as older. I never like to be a young person being told by others. I hate that. Okay, so unlike Michael Jackson, y'all can enjoy your childhood. And live in adult. I love being in control of my life, like Janet. Okay, and I'm also a Leo. Okay, when it comes to not being horoscopes in there, but I do represent my sign. Okay, and of course, stars to the only God does, but I hate being dominated by other people. Now, what happened is, what happened is when I saw his attitude, how he treated the young caller, and who was a probably teenager, young 20 years old, and having folks do that to me and my own family, I took personal issue with that, and I said, nah, you can go ahead and look for your own anti-Catholic articles on newspapers and stuff. I'm not doing it anymore. You want to me, I'm not respecting you. You're not respecting me. It's we mutual respect. I don't care who's older. God has no favors. Now, and Raymond Roy was laughing. No, I had enough of that. I was very distasteful because I was dealing with abuse at home. My grandmother at 30-some years old, just barely 30-some years old, and 20-some years old, and I'm seeing people outside the faith of her who, what I'm saying, doing this. No, I don't care who old or young. Can we all respect each other? Why do you have to belittle somebody to feel good about yourself? So what happened is, you know, I just didn't like, if I need a Trump supporter and Pope Francis is telling people on Catholic that Pope Francis is not against Trump. Yes, he is. The man came out and said it that he's not for Trump and he was a racist and he was unchristlike and stuff. And this man, anyway. So, and this is weird. In Trump campaign, you have the HPD coming to their facility to raid that. That's what happened. And it took a Hispanic man. Y'all don't look at his color. It took a Latino man who was a priest molesting. What about the white ones doing it? Yes, and I'll never forget on the sexual scandal. They talked about the African Nigerian one back in 2002 on Houston Chronicle. Okay, I don't forget this, but you're gonna talk about the other cities were mostly liberal. Okay, yeah, other liberals is the reason why. No, you. It's not because yes, there is a gay mafia. I will admit that there is people who don't want to be sexually moral. Okay, in the priesthood. However, it's people who are naive, who are very uneducated themselves. I don't care how old they are, but it's still stubborn in their old way, believing that children should be seen and not be heard. Okay, not looking into the fact that that bad clergy do exist. And even Jesus said that in Matthew 13 about weeds and wheats. In the book of Jeremiah, there's bad priests, in the Jewish priests and rabbis. They're also, and also too, Saint Peter said, obey God and rather than man. And yes, Saint Paul said to respect and obey the authority, but he wasn't talking about a bad authority. Go back to what Saint Peter said, respect God and man, meaning the authority that goes by God's way. not by our way as humans to do wrong. And y'all get that twisted. So you brought into the culture of that in the United States, complacent with America so you can stay relevant because you know this is an anti-Catholic country. Okay, ever since Thomas Jefferson would made the church separation of church and state because of he didn't like Catholics. Now, going back to the situation when it comes to me in the 90s, this is the time I turned 20 and I couldn't find work. I did work here and there, and I was trying to start my own business with Equinox International. So I had a lot of, I also was in an actor for King of the World with Other Place Talent Agency. And I go ahead and mention the Other Place Talent Agency. And the guy who owns that knows, look at the Nias. He's an African American man. He has some Mexican name American in him as well. Whatever. He's a dark skinned brother. He worked at the Pelican and he worked with rappers on the nearby 16 area and where Ashland Dome area is in NRG area. And my talent agency was right there by Chacho's area. Yeah, by Chacho's. And what happened is because of apartments on Merritt area, I used to go there, and I was 20-some years old and still economically default. Nobody wouldn't help me. That's what led me go to the liberal side because the old school conservative, or they were liberal by voting but still lived conservative, was the stumbling block of me trying to survive as an adult. Like they wanted me to be a child as an adult. So what happened is I started to see, looking into liberal Protestantism, liberal Catholicism as well, and I did see some moral issues about same sex is having same sex is wrong. Some of those who are liberal in their theology, not in political, was trying to say that it's okay with God. It's not even having sex outside of marriage is wrong. And I had to agree with that because the truth is truth. However, you be compassionate with the truth. You don't be ugly if you're a godly person, right? Because you saw all these Westbury Baptist churches and people being rude and cruel and talking. In the African American community, that is normal because folks don't know the history. When the white Protestants had slaves here, they misinterpreted the Bible to defend white supremacy. Okay? Not only that, they taught their ministers, the black ministers, to do the same thing. That's why when I watched Birth of Nation, I was not mad when Nat Turner got beaten up by his master. The people he trusted, he kissed their behind, they turned against him because he deserved it. Twisting. So I'm sorry, it's too wrong to make right, but you're twisting the holy word to do evil. You know what I'm saying? And that gets on my nerves. Okay? So many are, not all Cocoa Black churches, but a lot got shot that me and them tell you not to get a job. And about welfare goes on. I'm going to tell y'all the real reason why we have welfare recipients, a generation. Because you have ministers or African descent of any shape will tell their parishioners to not work or to just let God give you a job, not to do faith out works. They don't believe faith out works. Like in these Catholics believe in James chapter 2, faith out works is dead. Okay, what Luther was wrong at. And so these people who in the ghetto who do go to church, okay, will give their money, hard working money to those ministers. The ministers will take that money and run with it. And they will also get their ideology from white supremacists who are white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. Well, they don't have to be Saxon Protestant, but they fit into that mold of conservative white Anglo-Saxon Protestantism in America, and who have ties to the Ku Klux Klan. Okay, a lot of folks know this when Trump won, that we had a lot of white evangelicals on his side. A lot of people, and he had ministers, African people, and was shocked because I read about this. Okay, so they would teach the Bible on a white supremacist mentality, okay? And they also would teach that abuse was normal and dysfunctional behavior was normal, okay? And they would say that was God's punishment or you deserved it. Don't you question it. And it's what the white supremacists and the plantations do to our ancestors. They're our ancestors, we're not pure black. So our elders, okay, from Jim Crow and from slavery, passed this message to them. So during time in the Reagan and Bush, the crack epidemic, you had people who were former drug dealers, gang members, looking for religion, and they will go to a Protestant church. not a Catholic one. They heard bad anti-Catholic information. And so what happened is the ministers at that church would tell them what to do like they're God. Like literally the minister would try to act like they're God, like dictate your life. All areas like a cult. That's why Jim Jones had members from most Africans in that mentality. Don't question authority, that slave mentality, okay? So let's say you're trying to get a job and you're having issues. Instead of, there are good ministers who will help you, but you also have some ministers in the community will tell you don't argue with God. He's telling you that you shouldn't have a job. You should stay poor where you're at. You know, he will give you what you want. It wasn't as faith our works is dead, what the Bible say in James chapter 2. It wasn't Jesus saying seek and find out over. It wasn't, and I learned that from the Catholic faith, okay? So it was people telling you to not come up. But you gave your money to whether it was hard working money, and let's be real, some dope dealing money. If you're out there hustling, you gave that money in the collection plate, and he's driving a nice Rolls Royce, and you still live in shanty house, a ghetto, and projects, and you're told not to work. God ordains you a job, and you don't have to work as hard like the other person. Okay, and if you mess up, it's okay. Now, of course, you shouldn't have self pity, but you still should work harder once you fall, right? Okay. Well, they will discourage that. So imagine, and that's why I see why there was getting more African and Hispanic workers than African Hispanic people, because you have a popular a group of people listen to the ministers who's giving all these old dumb stupid interpretations of the word to keep them where they at and not economic growth, okay? But to give them economic growth every time they go on every Sunday like today, and I'm sure they've been doing. So, you know, not to question, it was this doormat, this burdensome, narcissistic, Pharisee type interpretation. That, and folks understand that came out of slavery because the slave masters, our other ancestors, wanted to keep our black and mixed race ancestors in their control for their money, because slavery was about money. A lot of folks don't understand. So, of course, you had Catholic Church, Catholic priests who violate their own conscience and also their own faith, participate in slavery. That's why if you read from a Catholic perspective of slavery, it would tell you that the Pope many times told ministers, priests, nuns, and monks, if you involve, you are excommunicated. You cannot take communion. Because y'all know that verse in Corinthians 11, whoever do not judge, don't eat this bread. Because remember, our highest form of worship to God is the communion by blood of Jesus Christ, the sacrifice, okay? That God already talked about in the Old Testament, in Malachi 1:11. Sundown, the sacrifice, holy offering, sundown, sun up, east and west, whatever, okay? And it's mentioned in the best every time. So every time we go to church, we lose a memory, and that's our highest form of worship. There's a sacrifice on the altar, which is the Bible of Jesus Christ. Every time you go to church, they always have the communion there, okay? It's not once a month in the Protestant faith, okay? Now, however, so imagine you're trying to get together, and every time someone's lecturing you in a Protestant faith, they think when you mention you're a Christian, they think you're a Protestant evangelical, and you're not. Then you start to have the anti-Catholic hate, okay? People starting the Bible, saying you worship other gods, all these other false interpretations, in which you know that if Jesus found the church, why would you believe another God? Because I would ask that question, as if that was the truth, then why would we read Matthew 8:16? He did build a church on rock of Peter, and if you know later on we did research, Peter did go to Rome 5:13 of 1 Peter. So that's a lie. Oh, well, you pray. And in the Protestant churches, and folks do not know, when Zwingli, Calvin, I think Martin Luther, they question that. That's why the Protestants believe that prayer is a higher form of worship, when actually it is communion. It is the body and blood of Jesus Christ. Okay? That's why every time you go to daily Mass, those who are not Catholic, you're going to see Mass, which is the sacrifice right at the altar. Every time you have a wedding, a funeral, that's thank you, okay? So that's our high worship. Prayer to y'all is worship because of the Protestant evangelical, Protestant reformers when they left the Catholic Church, they was trying to remove anything Catholic about them and make their own interpretation. What St. Peter said in the second letter about it's the prophecy of personal interpretation of Scripture. For Second Peter chapter 1, 20 and 21. And also the Scripture needs structure, and it's very true. America, when I hear people say that America is a Christian country, I'm telling you, it's not a Christian country. It's from jump start. It wasn't a Christian country. Based on personal interpretation of Scripture, it's not. Okay? In the church that he founded, our Savior Jesus Christ, it's not respected because it debunked those interpretations. That's the main reason we don't understand. Okay? So when you hear that these people are attacking you on the bus, you're being harassed, your family's turning against you over these allegations that you didn't think never been accused of, you start asking the priests, and the priests would not give a legit answer. They would try to avoid the, yes, I'm serious. You had some priests, especially when you go to St. Thomas University, who debated with evangelicals, anti-Catholic people, and used the Bible because they were using laptops and stuff. No, there was a priest I met that actually used the Bible to defend the faith. Now, but these Catholics around you are losing their faith. And they join these Protestant churches, even those in the church I belong to. And when I went to my old church, it's when the Italian priest had left. And we had an Irish one that died in 2001, right before 9/11. I think right about 9/11, he passed away. Well, anyway, what happened is, every time, even him, they were scared to talk about the anti-Catholicism of folks attacking my faith and even your own family and stuff, and not answer the questions. And that's why I said men are more lazy, because if you're elected in priesthood, you are you're not the head shepherd, Jesus head shepherd, but he put you as a shepherd of his flock on earth to do his job for him. Okay, when Saint Paul said, "I become the father of the gospel," New American version of the first Corinthians, I think 4:12 or 4:15, 16, whatever those verses. Okay, you only have one father. I become the father of the gospel, and that's in interest in NIV. I think King James took that out, and because a lot of folks would have, it's not there. But other Protestant versions of the Bible does have that on there, and also the Catholic version has that on there. So then King James, who was also bisexual, a lot of folks don't know, translation was wrong. Okay, a lot of folks love to use King James version, but don't know who King James was about. Okay, he was bisexual. And King James also made his own interpretation of the Bible, translation of the Bible. And a lot of folks who know the backup story, his translation was was an error. How he translated the Greek and the Hebrew, the Protestant Bible, the ones they took when Luther took the so-called Apocrypha, 7 books out the Old Testament, and then almost took out Revelation because he was working in and about figure out words dead. James verse, the book of James out, because folks understand the Bible comes from the Catholic Church. The word Biblia means collection of books. The Catholic Church gave it meaning. Okay, a lot of folks not know that. The reason why you have those books in the New Testament is because of the sacred tradition. Now, I ain't talking about tradition of man that Jesus condemned from the Pharisees, or what St. Paul talked about in Galatians 2, that many Protestant churches are guilty of having in their own interpretation. I'm talking about the interpretation, the tradition that St. Paul defended in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, 15, 14, and also the 3rd chapter as well of 2 Thessalonians. So a lot of people don't know, okay, that, they had many books of Jesus, right? But remember St. John said in the Gospel of John that there was, then there were so many books that was recorded by Jesus was not, so not everything's in the Bible, okay? That's what I'm saying, because there was other books. There's the book of Clement, there's the book of Judas, there's the book, okay, in Council of Trent decided which what books belong in the New Testament. And it was based on the sacred tradition that St. Paul defends in 2 Thessalonians. Okay? So without sacred tradition that Luther had a problem with, you wouldn't have the New Testament today. Okay? A lot of folks not know that. Okay? So That's how I know my faith, okay? So when I try to, I noticed the racism, and it wasn't openly, it was inside based on action, how folks treat you. And I noticed that, and when I noticed that many of the African American descendant parishes in Houston Diocese, all also in the Hispanic ones, were not given information that's biblically fact about our Catholic faith. And I have written to folks in our communities, both the African American and Hispanic communities, and they would fail to talk about these issues. Then I go talk to the diocese. They fail to talk about all those, and they will fail to pass on information. I'll never forget, even we had a Nigerian priest in 2002, and they was having a seminar at the, what's that church on Cullen? The Charismatic, the Catholic Church. That's from about Third Ward in Cullen, in University of Houston. And what happened is, I told the mean Nigerian priest, and I said mean because he was very mean at the parish after the Irish priest had passed away, and he refused to give the even I dropped the own information. He said, "Oh no, we yeah." So you see, so you now see why that you have less people in your parish come to mass when their anti-Catholic so-called friend is giving you false interpretation of the Bible, but you don't care about your, but you care about being rude and evil, okay? Because when he remember the confession from him. I'm about to go off in that dude. Remember, I hear you yell that, okay? See, they forget that Saint Timothy was told by Saint Paul, 2 Timothy, chapter 2:24, to correct in kindness. Yeah. So, yeah. So, and that's how I know. So I never forget that. And I had white priests talk to me rude at the Midtown. I want to go confession, and you try to because you want your right hand, left hand know, when you deal with people who are against your faith. However, I couldn't take it anymore, and I would stop going to church. And right there, the Protestant scandals after 9/11, at the Muslims attack for 9/11, and then the Catholics attacked the Protestant scandal in 2002 during Bush. Okay, but I'm gonna let you know. I know people who are white Catholic who own a bookstore. I'm gonna go detail their business. Who had people in their house voting for Bush, like they had a voting poll at the yes, okay, yes. So the people you put in office, and don't forget, Bush had ties to Bob Jones University. Not only it's a racist university towards minorities and interracial marriage, they don't like Catholics either down in South Carolina. So it's weird how y'all can defend people who really hate you because you want to be in a white racist American Protestant pie, even though you're Catholic. Okay. So when I saw this, y'all, this is the problem. I stopped going because we're doing sexual scandal, and I was getting tired. My mom and grandfather, who was agnostic about it, and I tried to be respectful. And in to take my faith, I did go ugly with those my grandfather and everybody, and the priest was defending their side of the story because their age and title, and not showing any gratitude about what me being hurt by it. And when I saw that my feelings were ignored and my situation was ignored, and I was poor, and my family was middle class, but I don't have their money; they had money, and I'm trying to get my own. And nobody in the church dare act like the Matthew 25, didn't act like the Psalm 82 or the Good Samaritan. That's why I stopped going. Now I didn't give up my faith because I knew it was true, but there was people not being truth in it. That was the main people. And you did complain. You told that it's part of life. You're complaining. Get over it from other people. And I'm not those people. If something bothers me, I'm gonna scream high and loud. Now, you want to say, well, why are you bringing this up? Well, I did go back to church. No, not recently. I'm talking about when I left El Paso. I will go visit El Paso. Actually, the El Paso Catholic churches are way better than Houston. I tell you that they're more Catholic oriented, and they will tell you to read your Bible and all that stuff. They will show you scripture verses. Okay, you did see Anti-Catholicism there, but it wasn't as strong like in Houston. Okay, because a lot of Catholics in El Paso, especially the Hispanic population. There's a lot of evangelical Hispanics as well, and Jehovah's Witnesses and stuff, but they back up the faith in some way. And I should stay in El Paso. That's probably the reason why I did so. I was a blessing in El Paso for 30 years. I even miss it. Okay. I didn't want to be economic default because the money funding the school the buses they suck. They don't run good like here in Metro Houston, and now they have a car and they have no place to stay after I leave job corps. So where I go stay? And anyone live in the ghetto in the barrio, you know what I'm saying? And like I live in the ghetto right now. I went in the hood here. I went in a decent area. So I come back to Houston and I started to have spiritual attacks with my family. That too. And I started going to church. But every time I would confess and mention the real I sinned against them, you had priests telling me, oh, they don't know. You know, you need to forgive them. And sometimes we have to suffer, you know, ridiculous suffering. But in ridiculous suffering, you don't aid the suffering. Yes, we suffered it. It's part of Christian Christ suffering on the cross. But that's like me saying, well, since you have cancer, as a doctor, I'm not going to give you any medication. Okay, since you got shot yesterday, I'm not gonna try to save you. Just suffer and die. That's what you're saying to your brother. It's not the Matthew 25 that Jesus talked about. Because many of those people are suffering, and he did go visit the weak, the sick, the people in prison, and all other stuff. Get to the poor. A lot of these Catholics here do not do that, and they don't follow. It's part of the act of mercy. It's part of our Catholic doctrine, the works of mercy. And a lot of them do not practice social justice, especially the white ones. I'm not saying all white people, but I know it's in minorities, Hispanic, Asian, and African American, African descent too. Do not. It's like I got money. He. You know what I'm saying? You go come here poor. Just deal with it. You know. And so, what really got me every time they would defend my anti-Catholic, narcissistic, abusive family because of their title, not looking at the fact that their action was causing me sin, and it does in the Bible. Who about what's the word? Scandalized live with to see. Okay, we supposed to if my arm or my foot or my leg caused me a sin, cut it off. Not literally cut it off, but it means avoid occasion sin. So when I was asking for help to get away from my toxic family that didn't believe in your faith, you're going to defend them because they title and age and all the other social elements. Actually, should be saying we should respect each other. So when I started to see that being ignored in my situation, I'm going to hurt them if I leave or call laws. Yes, I had one particular priest in downtown. I'm going to say that I can't stand the Monsignor told me when I told him I was going to call laws to my mama because she's a very abusive woman. This dude going to tell me, and I didn't say dude, going to tell me that that's too extreme. But what if I get beaten inside the head? Are you going to aid me if I'm bloody or whatever? Because my brother is an abusive woman. Okay? I don't make things up. But then, but you forget that Galatians chapter 4:17 tells you that I don't need to live by her rules. And the Catholic Church even said that parents, that doctrine about the commandments about honoring thy mother, it does tell you in their explanation that the adults are supposed the parents are supposed to respect the adults' choices of life and profession. Now, of course, not condoning for sin, but that's on them. They no longer they have to carry their own load. It was St. Paul saying Galatians, right? Or either class one of those Pauline letters that carry about carry your own carry your own weight. Yeah, carry your own load. Okay. Um, what about they always trying to enforce family. I'm for family, okay? But if the family is dysfunctional and it's causing people sin to the point they make you want to kill somebody because nobody ain't taking care of the rebound. Let me explain the reason why that those homicidal thoughts come in. There's nobody on my side. Because I called lost before, I called lost my own dad 10 years ago. People want to see the functional families. It's like they're not going to teach mutual respect, okay? It's like the one side, here we go, children should be seen, not be heard. Okay? So the parent always right, even the parent make you sin, it always right. And then he or she don't do anything wrong. This is okay? When actually in Matthew 10, that debunks all that. Because Jesus said that there will not be no peace, there'll be fall against sister, brothers. Y'all know what I'm talking about, and whoever and be enemies in your own house. And they try to, one priest tried to denounce that my family were my enemies. Yes, they are. If they're being sinful behavior with me, trying to do bodily harm, intimidate me, they are sinning too. And they are causing scandal. So in the catechism, I also talk about scandal when it comes to the fifth commandment thing, or the sixth commandment. Sixth commandment is adultery. Okay? Because it explains the commandments in the catechism of the 10 commandments. Now, that is causing scandal. Okay? That is causing scandal on their part. I have a right to not get yelled at and scolded at. And that's when you have the Ephesians 6:4 about provoking a child to anger, in Galatians chapter 3, 21 comes in, along with the 18 of Matthew. So I shouldn't be yelled at, scolded, and berated either. And because love is not just a injury, right? Okay. In Matthew, in Corinthians 13. But y'all being critiqued in the confession. You talked crazy to the point that Pope Francis said, "Excuse me," that gives people away. So anyone saw my comment on Twitter? I shared that video from Rome Reports where Pope Francis said, "Do not talk to the Christians that way. You are driving the flock away." And y'all know that Jesus talked about those who hurt the soul, then the body, like a murderer. Okay, so you are driving people away when you act in this way. Okay, so when I started seeing the narcissistic abuse, the spiritual abuse that I experienced from Protestantism, once again having my Catholic faith, and I tried to keep my mouth shut. Once I got moved to my apartment, won my eviction case in 2012, I stopped going. Especially when one priest told me that I should still listen to my mother and father. When actually I can get the Pope in here and he would correct you about that. I don't have to listen to my mother and father. I have to respect them. There's a difference between respecting and being obeyed. I'm no longer a child anymore. And when I saw that, the most accurate churches that had an Asian priest visiting there, no, because I was go off and I was mad and mass. I sure was. I never forget. I was very angry to the point to do like on the pulpit on the altar, like he wanted to get me out the church. I didn't care. So, and I'm 32, 33 years old at the time. Yes. And I guess it's because he's an Asian. I don't live by that narcissistic culture. No offense, because the Asian, even Nigerian culture, they're very strict, rigid. Please don't share that trash for me. I'm not interested in keep that mess in your life. Now, as I started to see, and this what really got me, and I've been to church many times, the cathedral, and I did say that the pastor priest, because a priest is a pastor if he's assigned to the church. Okay, it's not a Protestant word. If he's assigned to the church, he's a pastor. Okay. When and I had issues with that priest before at the cathedral. He's from Pasadena, Texas. He's a Czech. He's Polish. Yeah, I probably know what I'm talking about. And what happened is I dealt with this Hispanic man that got on my nerves, who was an usher. He's a vet. He was Jeff Davis, all his business, high school, 1970s. Like he about my dad's age, because I think he graduated 1970 or 69 or something like that, 40 years ago. Okay. But dad graduated. And you can go to Jeff Davis. My dad went to the physical. He all my business, but he went to physical. 72. So he's an older man, 1950s or probably late 40s. And this dude will always berate me because I had a bag. Everyone knows I carry a bag because I don't have a car. That's my possessions to keep my bag. And one time, the security officer was harassing me about that. I never been harassed by security until 2012, or late 2011. No, 2012. And I guess someone was coming, the homeless people in downtown were coming to steal. I don't steal a doggone thing. So I went and told the pastor, the priest of the church, that this man was harassing me, and I did snitch on him. He said, "You can bring your bag with, because I don't want nobody stealing my bag." You know what I'm saying? So they had a Martin, and I never forget, in 2012, 2011, the Guadalupe Mass. And that same darker Latino guy who bowed head sometimes, who's very evil, rude, he's a Republican. He also, Tommy Loren, I seen stuff on social media, fan, Fox News fan. He's a coconut. Yes, he is. Paul Joe Coconut, cool, okay? Shoe shiny to white supremacists. I'm going to call it like it is. He was being rude to me. So I had to defend myself one time. Now, me rude, but nobody got my back. Nobody started telling this man, leave me alone, let's respect each other. So they had Martin King Mass. And I went to an interview. No, it was an interview it was Sunday at Office Depot near Gulf Gate. So I had to ride the bus And I was dressed up. I said, good, because one time I came to the Martin King Mass with some jeans on and everything, and I kind of found a place because a lot of people I've been sent was dressed nice. Usually you dress casual sometimes like that at regular Mass, but this was Martin King Mass, everybody was dressed nice. So, you had African ministers, priests, and bishops, dioceses, and you know what I'm saying, and a lot of us, okay, and from different parishes. So it was usually, I never back in '99, it was very packed. So I said, let me go this year to honor Martin Luther King in this mass. I went there, and that's what the same Latino guy was rude to me about a bag. And I'm sorry, I'm very assertive and I'm very defensive. I might got a little aggressive. I said, excuse me, the father Lawrence said, let me bring my bag. I got permission because, and so he said, art. So I'm sorry. I mean, he was very mean. He had PTSD. I'm sorry. And I was trained bipolar that year, 2013. I forget this. So I was working, mental health veteran place, and I was doing a janitor, uh, and I had issues at work. I had workplace bullying, and and there was some things going on. I couldn't be at work one time, and I did it. My supervisor know about it, and I didn't care about losing because I went to another job anyway. Because it was some issues going on, and actually the people that did me wrong got fired later on after they got rid of me. But before that happened, on Holy Week, Good Friday, we had an Easter party. Okay, so before I had an issue with the supervisor at my job, and the brother I can't stand, the bald head brother who's dark skinned, Creole from New Orleans. That's when the one I'm gonna use the B word, the one I called the B word and my other videos. Okay, she was very rude. She had the devil's pride. She's from Boston. She's a model. We both used to be models. Okay, because anyone who provokes me, I just hate the narrative. I don't want to ever be. She don't care about. I hate it with a passion. I am the scoffer of Proverbs 9:7. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Don't respect me, I'm going like this, okay? You know Proverbs 9:7, don't respect a person, and so, okay. Anyway, so we had a Easter party at work, and they had donuts and juice, and they didn't want to throw all that stuff away. So I don't have a car. They gave me bags, garbage bags with this stuff. So I carried it with me to go to confession right after they had a celebration Good Friday at downtown. And I went to go loosen my shirt out and everything because, you get a shirt in when you at work and stuff. Kind of cash it down a little bit in the bathroom. So the old man followed me in the restroom. And as I, waiting to go in, it was so crowded in there, they still doing a celebration. And that's when this dude screams out and said, you got, you move this. So I went off on him. I'm sorry, I couldn't take it no more. And he pressed that button. I hate it. I don't care. Nobody had my back to tell this man, leave me alone. So we're going to tell the secondary pastor, like the secondary pastor, he's a Nigerian priest. Same age as me, born 79. Baju, I mean his name. He would not do anything about it to tell this man, leave me alone. He still would be, I said, can you please tell this man, leave me alone? So then I tried to get from Father, and his wife, so someone was helping out with them. Why you man? You talk like this from the presence of Jesus Christ. Why you being rude? I'm like, so is he doing the same thing? Don't just let the outrage on me. You know what I'm saying? I hate that partiality trash. So when it came to the bishop, the priest, that's when he defended that man, talking about he ain't nothing wrong and I was wrong and nothing wrong. So he allowed scandal against me, aggressive, being very abusive to me. And anytime I was disrespectful, I was offensive out to that. I meant that because nobody had my back. I try to be nice, but no, I'm gonna let you know I hate anyone who provokes me anger. Be prepared to get disrespected. I don't care if it's too wrong to make right. Don't act like God had partiality. God had partiality. Church, I'd be atheist like my own father. My father's an atheist. I will reject God right then and if you teach me that a false doctrine. That's because I read in the scripture. There's no partiality. Okay, you respect those who are younger than you. You respect those who are older than you. Mutual respect. Okay, well, what's wrong with people who don't want to practice mutual respect because they want power? They want idea of mistreat somebody in a title or older age or whatever, even younger. It's about having power over that person and getting gratification of hurting them. Let's be real. Anyone to read narcissism, okay? So I try to keep my mouth shut, but I snitched on him when I'm talking to Carl Diallo in the confessional. And that's when the man was on my side, but told me to be assertive, not aggressive. Okay? But I can't take it. I'm sorry. I ain't saying, man. I hate that. Okay. And I know if I went to Easter Mass that weekend, that's when I saw a sad look on their face, and still that Hispanic man was following me around, and I was going to get we call it because things we get the law involved to get that person away. Um, not these violations. We call it restraining order. And I was getting restraining order, and I was talking to my lawyers to get it done. And I did procrastinate because I was going through a lot of things that 2013. And I'll get it signed so they can go to the church and tell this man not to be near me because I'm about to take legal action on him. Now, as I saw the news clip about the raid, and he talked to parishioners at Sacred Heart Cathedral, I'm just laughing at this. That's what y'all get. Not that long ago, after that situation, Father Lawrence was also attacked by other Catholics for allowing a Protestant female bishop ceremony in the church. And then they had a ceremony for the police officers right during this Black Lives Matter, Latino Lives Matter, and they were like forgetting that there's abuse of authority. And God is not like abuse of authority. Remember St. James said, I was going to teach up just strictly. Okay, third chapter. Okay, remember Jesus was upset at the Pharisees, how they did the temple and stuff. Folks don't get that he was on the side of those who are hurt by the Pharisees, not on the Pharisee side, but y'all showed defend the Pharisee side, whether it be the secular or the religious. Now, in Father Lawrence is a hypocrite. You defended my abusive family members. Okay? You have an April that's a child abuse awareness, but you defend abusive parenting, narcissistic parenting, codependency. Because I was 30-something years old. I mean, I should have been out the house a long time ago. But y'all would defend, make all the excuses. It was like going to psychic hotline. And of course, psychics and occult is not proved by the Catholics as sin, but it's like they knew your business and they did not know. You know what I'm saying? They make assumptions. Okay? So when they start making assumptions about my life, you don't know my life, I don't even know who we over the thing, then I stopped going to church. And I did. I stopped going when I've been told that, I heard other Catholic priests that was on my side said, don't go visit, what I'm saying, keep yourself in the situation. But it was always few of that. It was most of those supportive of abuse that came from narcissistic Catholic families themselves that defending anybody with a title was right. And then that's where you see this mess, when actually the opposite. Jesus was against bad authority. We read about the gospel of the Pharisees and scribes who put heavy burdens, who act like king of Gentiles and benefactors. And so when I see the Catholic Church in America, and I see why when I tell a priest, I'm going to tell the Pope, they get scared because they know you're not doing right. And I was telling my Protestant subscribers, you can't say all Catholics, like, you know what I'm saying? It's a rats, when cats away, the rats were placed. And what happened in slavery and the colonization of Americas and the genocide and Native Americans and the Africans, when the cat's away, the rats will play. Or when the dog's away, the cats will play. Okay? Because we all was kids. Our parents told us to do some grandparents, whatever, and we did it when they were not around. Okay? So that's the same thing goes on here. However, you have bishops not being compliant with the Pope. Okay? A lot of folks do not know, because one thing the media is not going to tell you all this stuff. I'm going to tell you the tea. Okay? The Pope does give out instructions to the priests in America. As Mary Alice, I forgot her name. She's a nun. She's part German, part black. She's on YouTube. What is her name? Okay. She said that when Pope Francis, Pope John had, so we're talking about black Catholic racism in the United States, she said that many times the Pope has told to stop the racism in the church and go against and fight for civil rights. However, you have bishops disagreeing and not being obedient to his orders. So you see why there's racism in the Catholic Church? Okay, exactly. And every time I would mention it, I would tell the Pope, they would get scared because they did not know someone would challenge them. Okay, so the raid is going on right now with the Hispanic man. Funny, it takes a person of color to get that done. Because imagine that the ones who are Caucasian, you know what I'm saying, the ones who are doing the raping and sexual abuse and any other situations, you're not going after them. Of course, you go after them in major liberal nanny state cities. Okay, let's call it is. In the South, a lot of these Catholics who are white, and I'm saying not all, but some of them are complacent with white supremacy when it comes to white English Protestant authority. Because Texas has a lot of control by W.A.S.P people, okay, not Catholic people. The Catholic Church is easily critiqued in Texas, but the Second Baptist Church, you know, Ed Young's church has some scandals too. Go to stopbaptist and you see why those scandals in the Baptist Church, the Southern Baptist Church, is not exposed in the media. Okay, folks don't know their history. Now, the point is, a lot of the Catholics, like European Catholics and the Jewish European ones, they was being attacked for their faith, and the order to stay relevant, some of these people went with white supremacists in America who hated them. Okay, because you know that most white national schools are very anti-Catholic and anti-Jewish. You would say, well, I know that about the priest down there in Virginia, but no, let me explain something. That priest didn't tell the Ku Klux Klan that he was a Catholic, because he probably been hung. A lot of folks know back in the South, they was hunging Catholics and Jews, especially those who were defending African Americans' rights. There was with the carpetbaggers and scalawags, the Italians and Irish, the Germans would defend African American descendant people. You know, Eastern European, you know, it was called all type of N words too. However, stay relevant to assimilate to white English and Protestant culture, they join in racism. That's why you have a Bill O'Reilly and Sean Hannity, who are Irish Catholics, who are not good Irish Catholics. Okay, they're not. Okay, they're not. So you get my point. Stay relevant because they know. And now the same system they defended in Texas, the white English and Protestant bigotry here in Texas, is now using the Hispanic man who's a priest who raped those two people as a case to attack you. Because we know they didn't go to Ed Young's church and start doing investigation raids about the youth pastors molesting the boys and girls there. Okay? But the same people you try to defend and use, the children should be seen, not be heard, is American conservative values, Americanism. Okay? This is Americanism. You in not even defend yourself, because during 2002, I noticed, like I say, these priests did not come out and say, "Excuse me, stop slandering us." You know, if one thing about the Jews, I do give the Jews very good credit. If you attack their faith on a public level, they will shut you out. Okay, they will stop you from running your mouth about Jewish people. Okay, Catholics and secondary accuracy people, especially in this hip hop trash and ghetto trash culture. Now you know why folks are calling us the N word, because y'all made it pop. Okay, they're complacent, passive. You know, oh, it's gonna be all right. Don't worry about it until it hits you in the butt. I can't cuss here. Y'all know what I want to say. Lord, forgive me. Now the diocese, when they didn't want to help someone like me, who was contacting the Catholic League, snitching on news organizations like Channel 13, and reports about how they exaggerate the scandals. Not that I would never defend the sexual scandals itself. I'm attacking the exaggeration, the stereotypes. Okay, just like I accuracy people. You know, not all of us are hoods and thugs. Okay, just because you see that on the news or on rap videos. Okay. This is the problem. Media is a powerful tool, as Michael X said, and this was actually, and I'm not a true fan of Michael X until he left the Nation of Islam. I'm not a big fan of them. But it's very true, because that's how Hitler made the Jews turn against them in Nazi Germany. It's used the media. Okay? So they use the media, and you have the same people you had a ceremony for the police officers are now attacking the Catholic Church in Houston, to the point that arrogant behavior. And folks understand this is the racism in the Catholic Church in the South is nothing new. I had a friend, a associate of mine, older man, probably 10 years older than me, or probably 11 or probably 19 years older than me. Went to he about my no, he was lighter than me. He was very light skinned, lighter than me. He wasn't camera like me. He was very pale, kind of tannish complected brother. Thin hair was different texture, but he had a relaxer to it. And he said he used to go to Sacred Heart Cathedral as a boy in Catholic school. It was very racist. A lot of Italians and other white people there, and they were racist there back in the day. And actually, he's not lying. The Sacred Heart Cathedral today is very integrated today. But like one time I went to Mass in 2002, 2001. Not that that's a different brother here who had a different texture hair, light skinned Creole brother, was saying that he was part of the Archdiocese and he was trying to integrate the diocese. He said back in the day, you know, about white people. Now you have the three or four races of people, whatever. You go African American, Hispanic. And then it was an old building. It wasn't in the new building. It was an old building right there on 45. On I think it's Pierce. Yeah, the old building. I missed that old building. Okay, so he said that, and he's telling the truth. That it's very true that a lot of the it was mostly white, and these white people who here at the racist Ku Klux Klan folks hating on them, the W.A.S.P people, they will emulate that behavior with minorities, and minorities emulate with each other. Okay, so yes, it's very true, very true. So when you have them repeating that same mess, and without those immigrants from Latin America, Asia, Africa, in the East as well, you wouldn't have a Catholic Church today. You wouldn't have anybody sitting in a pew in that cathedral. Okay, you wouldn't. I'm gonna be honest with you. Remember, the Catholic Church being universal, and the reason why universal teach all nations is the same. Is what Saint Matthew mentioned that Jesus said in the 28th of the chapter, last verse, 28th. So that's what we call Catholic. When Saint Ignatius gave the church, there's the only Christian church before the Protestant Reformation, and the Orthodox came out and started making their own version of Catholicism. I don't know if it's about Orthodox, but still, that was the name they gave. Describe what Jesus said. He wanted to church all nations, all races of people. So when you have people driven away from the message of Jesus Christ, and in charge of being in competition with white Anglo-Saxon Protestant culture, then what happens to you? So I don't feel sorry for the diocese. Diocese, and even other people from other parts of the sister was telling me last year from Louisiana. She said I had to go to church all the reason because they like it better. They don't like it in Houston. The diocese is the the diocese. I don't like the diocese here in Houston. I don't like it. And you have the narcissistic behavior priests, like I see in Protestant and Evangelicalism. There's no mutual respect. There's no, and this toxic behavior is there. And then when it's toxic, even on the job, I'll be like Louise from America's Top Model. I will walk out, okay? I remember America's Top Model when they was in England and Louise cussed out Kathy Cutthroat, whatever her name is, because she's the mean, not Kathy, Kelly, whatever her name is. She's very rude, and Tyra was trying to defend her rude behavior. I'm use authority. I don't do well with I do not do well with rude people. I sure don't. I'll walk out. And, so, no, you're not going to talk to me crazy. I don't care how your parents did you. Don't do me that way. But the reason why about the cultural part of it, before I end this video, is because our people have been since of any religion here in the United States were taught that we're not human and respect the dysfunctional behavior from your mama, your husband, your brother, your sister, whoever, your wife. They taught that this is normal. The weird lynch behavior, you know what I'm saying? All this mess. The angry black woman, the thug, savage, buck, the fiddler, whatever you want to call it. Those stereotypes run in because that's what was taught to us to have, so we can remain as destructive underclass people. Even if we got money, the mentality is underclass. Okay? So that's the point that I'm trying to make here. Okay? So if you have priests that knows about that, but he's still playing with that role, you're not going to help someone get out of the abusive situation. You're not going to get help to people who need help in those charities and stuff to get their life together, so they will not be living at home and not be freeloading not on purpose. Okay, if a family house have their own, you're not gonna do that, then of course you get what you deserve. So I feel sorry for the Archdiocese. You let this man go ahead and molest because you believe that truth should be seen, not be heard. And paint a pretty picture when it's not pretty. I believe in being real. You know what I'm saying? That man, like in second and the first Timothy, second Timothy, was Saint Paul talked to Saint Timothy that they should two prophets speak, others discern. And remember, he said they're supposed to rebuke him, talking about the prophet, the elder, which is a priest in Greek version of in the New Testament, and because of pasteros, whatever you say in Greek, it means presbyter or priest, an elder. New Testament, the bishop and deacons, if they act like a fool, they don't want to be openly rebuked. Not the people in the prison. Those leaders should be openly, and even Saint Peter was rebuked and questioned by Saint Paul. Okay, so we have a right to critique those bishops and priests because they can't keep them in line. Remember, they the one that's in control of the Father, and actually, in Revelation tells you that they was trying to find out who's a real apostle and who's not, who's pretending to be apostle. So this is the time that y'all need to stop playing games and saying that someone like me is unchristian. You're not unchristian too. What did it happen to me on Good Friday 2013 at the cathedral? That was very unchristlike. I mean, I was wrong to react unchristlike to God, not to y'all. Forgive y'all because y'all asked me, apologize to me. But when it comes to his behavior, him provoking me to anger, he causing scandal, him being rude to me on God's property. And next thing we know, that on social media, he's a racist person. Talking about that old usher down there who's a vet, and how the heck he's part of the Buffalo Buffalo Soldiers group. Yeah, I spy on his. I don't get his business, but communicate. But yeah, because I want to know what I'm dealing with before I make any arguments. Can't refute me that he's a racist, undercover racist. You know what I'm saying? Now that he got some Afro-Mexican in him besides some neighboring Spaniard. Okay, he don't like his Spanish ancestors. Which ought to me crazy, because he think I'm less human. He's seen, they had a Barcelona program and picking strawberries, though they've been picking cotton on plantation. Hello, what's the difference? Now, still being dehumanized and make America rich, and you not being rich behind it. That's called like it is now. Hello, no, but still, that's the whole reason why. And when I start seeing people complying with my misery, no, complacent with it, no, I'm not coming here a doggone thing for your mouth. Okay. You're supposed to be out there to help the person get out of that situation, regardless what race or color you are. Because we all brothers and sisters in Christ, right? But the conditional love is more important than unconditional love, and defending abuse of authority because of titles and knowing that that's a danger on their end. You scandalize the authority to see, and all teachers is judged strictly. Okay. I understand that Jesus was never for abuse of authority, rude behavior, and talking to people crazy. You supposed to respect those how you want to be treated, no matter if you are the parishioner or the priest or whatever. But that's the reason why this was going to happen in Harris County and it got overlooked. In Houston, that's because many are bishops. And I would not put the past Cardinado, but the rest of them do not have this mutual respect behavior. And anything complaining about a minister doesn't get investigated because it's someone's whining. And it goes on in Protestant. If anyone who's an ex-Protestant like myself, left evangelical, that mess goes on in evangelical churches. And I notice that y'all try to compare yourself to evangelical because it's more effect. You have more butts in the seats, try to say. And something like Sister Mary Clarence in the movie Sister Act. But those butts in the seats are people who are vulnerable. Because they go after the people in the home, the folks out on the street. And no, I'm not saying every minister that's not Catholic is bad, but you got those who are snakes, who go after those homeless people, and so they don't want help. They will tell them, in order to get help, you got to join our church, and that's not right. How about them by their heart, but convince their own mind, as St. Paul said in Romans. Y'all know what I'm talking about. If I read the book of Romans, convince your own mind. She joined the church on her own, not you forcing and throwing and being acting like a theatricist in 3 John 9:10. If you know what I'm saying, that's my point. You got false brothers who trying to enslave you, as in Galatians 2:4. And And then I noticed that those priests stays in them rectories and do not come out and go out there and minister to those homeless people. They don't do that. They have, ever since the 60s and 70s and 80s. I can't say all, but I know in Houston, especially in the 90s and 2000s, they definitely stayed sheltered, like in the movie Sister Act 1. Okay? They don't care about what the outside, they don't care about anti-Catholicism. If you know your parishioners getting attacked by anti-Catholic wolves, it is your job to get the Bible and the catechism, put two together, show which scripture verses defend your faith. Y'all don't want to do that. Many of y'all are so scared and docile. No, but y'all get mad someone acting a fool or being rude. You'll get all mean, try to break that person down, and another person will knock you side of the head because they don't care about your doggone title. They care about you as a human being doing it. People be having humility in your walk, not be acting like a wolf in sheep clothing. So that's my point. That when it comes to being Catholic, no, I would never announce my faith because I read my scripture verses. I know this is the church that Jesus founded. There's no other church. However, it needs to be changed within. I'm not saying the doctrines. I'm talking about the people. And I'm glad that raid happened in my personal also because this was scandal of that Hispanic priest because it's the diocese with their stupid old school trying to be like the Fox News, even though that's run by WASP people trying to compete with conservative WASP people and trying to get their narrative into the Catholic Church because they feel irrelevant and they're trying to act like white supremacy. And I noticed that even those who are converts to Catholicism who left the white English Protestant evangelical churches, they're bringing their own biased negative ideology into Catholicism, being very unsensitive to minorities. I've seen that as well, bias as well. Talking about I'm not for political correctness, and you're not talking about the moral part. You're talking about what it is more when it comes to racism, which you will be treated. But however, you're talking about the sexual morality of like gay marriage and abortion, progressive. But you're not talking. But then you're talking about social is respecting each other and showing, saying, trying to defend white supremacy. I know like that code Darwin's language. Okay, so that's why. So now the diocese is getting raided. That's good. So now the people you defended who act like scribes and Pharisees you try to copycat in the church is now attacking you. Because it's no different. They said, well, it came for the Catholics. I'm not Catholic. It came for the Jews. I'm not just the king. And then it came after me. That's happening within that church diocese, and I hope it does change. It changed the narrative here. You need to stop showing this old social conservative Americanism, should I say, that's not even Catholicism, in the church. And start showing some humility towards the youth, the new future. If someone's molesting a child, then you need to tell authorities. If the bishop don't want to comply, then put him in trouble, in jeopardy, because he's supposed to comply. And I know the reason why, in my speculation, why these priests get shifted to different, even though this is a minority priest, of course, they're going to throw a person of color on the bus with it. And not defending because he's a Hispanic. The same thing happened here in Houston when they're talking about in Boston. They mentioned Nigerian priests, a Nigerian one, okay? This is what happens. There's a lot of, they say that it's not many American men joining the priesthood. Well, yes, we live in a Protestant culture, okay? You're taught to go have sex. You're supposed to have sex when you're married, okay? In the culture, today. But when you have Catholic priests in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Mexico, in Salvador, Brazil, Haiti, Jamaica, Asia, China, Japan, whatever, Vietnam, whatever. And they're not elected to come to the United States. And men have been trying to come here, but a white congregation does not want to see a person. There are priests that of color. What I notice if they're complacent with white supremacy. I'm gonna be real. Those foreigners, the ones who actually will come here and debunk all that, would not be allowed because they don't change your mindset. And I know that many don't want that money. Talking about the white parishioners, because we by they join forces with white racist, bigoted Anglo-Saxon Protestant people who control this country is because of money. Okay? When the Irish did something wrong to the African people, because of money. Okay? Let's be real. They did to all minorities. Even minorities, the Africans who turn against African Americans and people, and vice versa. Okay? They did the Hispanics. Okay? But that's the whole reason why I'm for the grade in this teaching y'all lesson. And no, it's also true that those two people whose abuse should have their cases dealt with a long time ago. You know that it's an anti-Catholic country. Why you're allowing such abuse priests in there? Because you want to keep the priests of color, in my opinion, I'm called like it is, who are not sexually abusive, who do follow the law, who live in Nigeria, who live in Ghana and Kenya and Asia, China, Japan, India, Mexico, those countries, Salvador, Brazil, whatever, Jamaica, Haiti, the Dominican Republic. You have those priests, bishops who don't have no moral behavior, who are not spiritually abusive, who are not any abusive, who are not wolves, who are true shepherds who grew up poor, and that was their faith, not money, who actually will come to this capitalist country and teach the faith. No, y'all bar those people and say, oh, it's enough priests, not many people, and beg the parishioners to join the seminaries so you can have priesthood, knowing that many of us, if we do join, will not do well because it's not coming from our heart. It's coming to please y'all. Okay? So that's the point. I laugh because I never get the St. Paul and Peter ministries. That used to go to the most integrated Catholic churches and most white, and they would have this newsletter called St. Peter and Paul ministries, whatever, and they talked about the foreign priests in those countries like Asia, Latin America, Africa want to come here, but the seminary, the bishops do not want them here. And that's like doing what they want to do, be they road dog, be they doormat. That's the only time they bring those ones here. And I noticed that. I didn't say all cases, but I noticed that. So, because if you would never have to ship another priest that's sexually abusing kids, if you got those priests from other countries to come over here and fulfill those spots, who are not going to let that happen. But once again, one all white, clergy. Because it's the same thing happened with the Josephites. They were trying to get African people, and you had bishops who were not supporting it, and the Pope was telling the bishops, support this, and they refused. Once again, cats away, rats away. And a lot of folks ain't looking. The bishops allowing this happening. The cardinals who are not, and even when Pope Francis, when Pope John Paul was alive, you had bishops talking bad about and disrespecting Pope John. A lot of folks not know about this. Okay? So, the disobedience of the bishops caused this sexual scandal. It is not Pope Francis, Pope Benedict, Pope John Paul. They tried, coming from Rome, to correct this problem. The bishops who stay in them seats are the stumbling block of the processing. A lot of folks not looking at that. News media would lie, being anti-Catholic, and know about fake news way before Donald Trump, due to Anti-Catholicism. Then it came to racism. Well, I know about that too. When it comes, didn't do nothing, all the other stereotypes they didn't put on there, thug and hood rat stuff. But the truth of the matter is, when it comes to that situation, a lot of folks need to look at and dissect the problem. It's the bishops who refuse to do their job by the Pope and who do not want to do their job, who not to need to be excommunicated and deflocked off their ministry. And I'm glad that the raid happened to wake them up. Stop being asleep. If someone's complaining about a priest being rude, being abusive, any form of fashion, doing some things, they remember they're seeing a judgment, meaning that they're judged by God, stricter than in the parishioner. And they should be out of ministry if they're not going to do the job. And if they are committing crimes, they should be called jail. So I'm not mad about this. You dog on riding for the HPD, Harris County, investigating this. So now you know, when y'all defend how the corrupt people in authority do, towards your parishioners in your own church, and even under those corrupt people at that mass, not letting them know they have a spiritual responsibility to treat the parishioners. I mean, treat the civilians with respect. If you don't have a mass for police officers, yeah, it was your turn to tell them to respect the people of the public. They're supposed to serve and protect, not harm. And there is a official oppression in the state of Texas if they do abusive things or be rude. Okay? There's a felony on their part. And y'all neglect to talk about that. That's what happens to people you protect in a turn against you. And actually, let me let you know, here's a secret behind that. When I did try to confront Anti-Catholicism in the media, and I will go announce on the phone, I contacted Channel 2 back in 2002. And I said, we have a comment. I said, can y'all please stop just saying everything that all Catholic priests are? It is going on. And it was a Catholic dude, 19, I can't look on the phone, the African American, Hispanic, 19 people, so there's a white person on the phone. And he said, well, I'm Catholic too. And we get our ideas, those reports from other states from the HPD. So when you doing Black Lives Matter, okay, and Latino Lives Matter and Native Lives Matter and people being shot and y'all not speaking up the evil, the social justice, because I always find I meet Catholics who individually who would make fun of term me social justice war on YouTube or social media justice, whatever. But if you know what I mean, and see they're Catholics, especially those Hispanic population and African American descent, know it's people of color. Being social justice is part of our faith. The Catholic social justice teaching, okay, and that goes back to Matthew 25, the Good Samaritan, the 82 Psalms. Yeah, come on now. So if I'm fighting against racism, that's my calling. Who gonna do it? When I get married and have kids, who gonna do it for my kids and my grandkids? You know what I'm saying? That's part of being a God warrior, is to fight against the evil, being the David and the Goliath. It's Goliath, okay? So when you have a mass for the police officers and you're not addressing that they need to stop abusing their authority, now the people you protected, just like you protect bad priests who molest those kids, are now ready to get you for what you did, you know, and they're not going to care about you being a Catholic priest if you're not guilty, of those crimes. They're going to treat you just like you or the other N-word, because folks don't forget that Catholics, when we're religious, especially the white ones, race, excuse me, will treat like the N-word in this country. The N-I-G-E-R, yes. Once again, I remind you, this is a white Anglo-Saxon, male, Protestant, dominated, straight male country, ever since the so-called founding fathers took it. So, in essentially, those priests are out there molesting children. First off, don't join, and a lot of us know why that goes on. Besides, the church should be seen, not be heard. It's not because the priest's celibacy. That's not a doctrine. It is a discipline. And it goes back to the ninth. I think this is the ninth of Matthew. We're talking about the eunuchs not married, and also to the chapter 7. Okay, and that's where it comes from. But no, anyone knows that pedophilia, people who are pedophiles go to occupations like teaching in public schools, authority of trust, especially with involves children. They become ministers, they become priests, they become pastors, they become teachers, they become, these different occupations, guidance counselors, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, you name it, even police officers, okay? Fire person, someone protected in the neighborhood to be trusted by others, especially when it comes to children. So you have easy access to children. That's the whole reason why it goes on. But no one in America, and I can't go to other countries, but in America, a lot of folks do not have a gift of discernment. Okay? And they're gullible. Some of these victims' families were gullible to trust that priest, thinking that didn't happen, not examine, not to have discernment. And then it goes right back to the old, stupid, old American conservative trash. Children should be seen, not be heard. And I don't believe in that. I believe mutual respect between child and parent. Honestly, you have to discipline your children, but not go abusive and be belligerent. Because love is not real. It's like saw Chris 13. Okay? That's the point I don't understand. I'm never talk to my children like that. I hate them. But y'all was used to, oh, they don't know. Yes, they do. They know what they're doing. Okay? So that's the reason why when you start defending my perpetrators instead in focusing on my pain and talking about I'm hurting them, actually they don't want to hurting me, I'm not listening to that. So that's what I'm saying. I'm glad that the raid happened. It's the same abusive people you protected, whether in the church or outside with these bad police officers, and having masses for them when it should be in that time to tell them people to respect those, because if it wasn't for the civilians, they wouldn't have a job. Okay, I understand that in America they're here to protect the rich, wealthy people, but by black and white paper, they're supposed to protect everybody, including a homeless person in downtown. So that's just call it is anyway, y'all. That's all I gotta say. I couldn't be quiet about this, but that's the reason why I'm happy that raid happened. It's going to teach these priests and bishops to be humble. Okay, that's when they join the priesthood for Jesus. Okay, it's about being humble. It's not about um, showing off and thinking your title is above everybody, you above the law with a title, and that's what y'all have treated people with titles in this country. And I don't know, no. Anyway, y'all, about having to say.